Do you feel like you overindulged a bit too much over the festive season and would like to finally lose those last few pounds this year? But are you fed up going on a diet, losing the weight, and then putting it all back on because it was overly restrictive and unsustainable? And lastly, do you feel confused and overwhelmed with all the information out there telling you that to lose weight you need to cut out carbs or gluten or dairy, or go on a juice cleanse, or maybe you should be going vegan or keto or paleo? If you open up Instagram and social media these days, there seems to be someone telling you something different every minute. You can go crazy. But not to worry, I'm here to help. As a qualified medical doctor and nutritionist with over 10 years of experience, helping clients to lose weight and keep it off for life, I'm here to share my top tips for healthy eating and weight loss so that you can lose weight without losing your mind or giving up all the delicious things you love. So here are my tips. Okay, so first up, eat whole, natural foods. Avoid highly processed packaged foods as much as possible. Now by this, I don't mean living off lettuce leaves and celery sticks, but for the most part, sticking to foods that are close to, if not the same as, their natural state. So fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grain carbs, dairy, fish, poultry if you eat it, and plant-based protein like chickpeas, beans, and lentils. I always tell my clients, the shorter the list of ingredients on the package, the better it is. So if you're choosing a bar, for example, for a healthy snack, go for something like this that has a few minimal natural ingredients. So this is just dates, raisins, cashew nuts, peanuts, and sea salt. That's it. Rather than a protein bar with a long list of artificial ingredients. And the same goes for things like tin soups, veggie burgers, and anything else you buy. Just look for things with a short list of minimal, whole food, natural ingredients. And thankfully, there are so many great options now available. That being said, don't be too obsessive about it. So if there's a food product, for example, this pasta sauce, that's mainly just water, tomato paste, salt, onions, extra virgin olive oil, but there is some sugar in the ingredients, I personally don't think it's the end of the world. And if it's gonna mean you're more likely to cook yourself a healthy meal, so you'll have this with a big bowl of whole wheat pasta, maybe some veggies or spinach leaves, some chickpeas and lentils, rather than ordering yourself a takeout, personally, I think it's worth it. So just be sensible with this tip. This tip is not just for weight loss, but switching to more natural foods and cutting out the processed junk will really benefit your mood, energy levels, and skin too. Junk foods just leave us feeling tired, lethargic, and craving more. And sugar in highly processed foods has been shown to accelerate skin aging. So just by doing this one tip, you'll find that the weight really drops off and you'll be looking and feeling your best self too. Next up, eat healthy fats. Don't try go fat-free. By this, I mean eating good, healthy, unsaturated fats found in things like nuts, hummus, avocado, olive oil, and various other healthy oils. Now, if you were a child or adult of the 90s, like I was, you'll know what a shift in thinking this one is. I grew up being told all these things were fattening. Everything labeled fat-free was great. Nowadays, not a day goes by where I don't eat one or several of those things at every meal or snack I have, and I honestly feel so full and satisfied. Incorporating good fats into our diets helps reduce sugar cravings, increase energy levels, and keeps us fuller for longer. In its absence, we tend to reach for sweet, starchy, and sugary foods. I can honestly say I hardly ever have cravings, and it's only since I've started incorporating so much healthy fats into my diet. I see so many people who are scared of eating things like hummus, avocado, peanut butter, because they think they'll make them fat. So they eat a rice cake, for example, for a snack, but end up eating the whole big bag because they just don't feel satisfied. So I suggest adding a few tablespoons of these things onto 2 rice cakes, for example, and seeing how they feel. And sure enough, they tell me they feel so much more satisfied. with just 2 rice cakes, perhaps with some hummus or avocado or peanut butter on, and they don't feel hungry until their next meal. So give it a try if you currently are avoiding fats. Another thing, fats aid in the absorption of vitamins and minerals from things like salads and vegetables you're eating. For example, the antioxidant lycopene found in tomatoes, especially cooked tomatoes, is far better absorbed with some olive oil. And the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, need some fats to be absorbed. Fats also help the body with all its internal processes, including metabolism. I always tell my clients, you need fat to burn fat. So don't go down the fat-free route thinking it's the key to weight loss. It isn't. And just one more note while we're talking about fats. The fats I'm recommending are heart-healthy, unsaturated fats, but they're also saturated fats and trans fats, which I say to avoid, but I'm not going to go into detail about that now because I have a whole section in both my books about that if you want to read more about them there. Now for the next piece of advice. Make friends with carbs. This is another myth we hear all the time. Carbs are bad, carbs make you fat, cut out carbs and you'll lose weight. Well, I'm here to tell you otherwise. And I have 10 years of real-life evidence working with clients and advocating carbs to tell you that carbs do not make you fat and they are absolutely your friend when it comes to weight loss. Of course, I'm talking about the right carbs. Healthy, whole grain, unrefined carbohydrates such as oats, brown rice, wholemeal bread, whole wheat pasta, sweet potato, and lots more. These are great sources of fiber and various other nutrients, meaning they are digested slowly and help keep us fuller for longer. Fiber in healthy carbs is also essential for gut health. More and more research is showing that our gut microbiome, which is influenced by what we eat, plays a huge role in so many things: weight, mood, immunity, and so much more. So you don't want to deprive it of the fiber it needs to flourish. And this one also helps prevent constipation. Cutting out carbs also slows down your metabolism in the long term. I can't even tell you how many clients I've seen who've told me, I cut out carbs and it worked. I lost loads of weight, but then a few months later, I piled it all back on and more when I started eating them again. Well, then I hate to say it, but cutting out carbs didn't work. That's because it's unsustainable, and then when you do go back to eating them, your bodies become so inefficient at burning them and your metabolism slowed down, so the weight piles back on even more. So don't cut out carbs. Another thing I often notice, I see so many people who tell me that they don't eat carbs in the evening specifically. So they'll have grilled chicken and salad, grilled fish and salad, whatever protein and veggies, but no brown rice, sweet potato, or anything like that, because they think that carbs in the evening will make them fat. But then they tell me every evening after dinner, they're going to the cupboards and they can't resist the biscuits, cake, chocolate, crisps, whatever. Well, it's because they're hungry and haven't had enough carbs to eat. I had one client recently, a young mom with a packet of biscuits a night habit. She was so reluctant to add in the portion of brown rice or sweet potato to her supper every night, but I begged her to try it. And sure enough, she came back a few weeks later, totally shocked that she'd managed to resist the biscuits every evening, a habit she'd been struggling for years to break. And thankfully, adding in the carbs helped her to do that. Carbohydrates also prompt the brain to make more serotonin, the same relaxing brain chemical released when you eat chocolate. Ever notice that when you or someone you know goes on a very strict diet and cuts out carbs, they become a bit moody or cranky? Well, it's because their brain has nothing to make the serotonin from. Cutting out carbs also diminishes your ability to concentrate and gives that brain fog sort of feeling. And that's because our brains need a steady supply of glucose to function properly. So for a steady supply of the feel-good hormone serotonin and the fuel that your brain needs to function properly without the weight gain, stick to eating the healthy carbohydrates I mentioned and don't try cut out all carbs. It's the biggest diet disaster and myth. And lastly, my last tip, and I think this is probably the most important one, change your mindset. Don't think of healthy eating and weight loss as a diet. something you go on and eventually go off. Reframe it as a new way of life, something you are doing to improve your overall health, not just to lose weight, but to feel your best self too. Also know that you don't have to be perfect. There will be days or weeks when you slip up on your healthy eating regime. It's not the end of the world. Don't feel guilty or beat yourself up about it, which ultimately just results in binging or giving up altogether. Just be kind to yourself, forgive yourself, and move on, and get back on track with your healthy eating habits at the next meal or the next day. Once you shift your thinking this way, you'll realize that 1 or 2 meals or even days of not so perfect eating won't undo your overall commitment to a healthy lifestyle. You'll just get back on track. This way, you're guaranteed to see results, and most importantly, ones that will last. So just to recap the tips: eat whole natural foods, eat healthy fats, make friends with carbs, and change your mindset. By incorporating these tips, you'll see that it really is possible to transform your eating for good and enjoy it in the process. And this way, the changes you make will last, and hopefully for life. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, as it really helps more people to see it, and also subscribe to my channel, as I'll be posting a new video every week so you don't miss it. And let me know in the comments below what's one change you're going to make in the new year. I'd love to hear. Wishing you all a healthy and happy 2023.